Crushers Club once again. Today we have with us tonight Arraina Thomas, also known as Coach A to the Crushers Club. And tell me about yourself.
I guess my name is Arraina Thomas, as you said. I'm the life coach at Crushers Club, trauma therapist, and just all around everything I could do, because I do everything.
And how did you hear about the Crushers Club?
I heard about Crushers Club. I was searching on the internet one day because I grew up in Inglewood, so I was searching on the internet while I lived in Minnesota. And I saw the Crushers Club, and I called Sally, asked her about it. She told me about the program. I said, it sounds pretty good. She's like, why don't you come visit? So I said, I was in Minnesota. She said, have you ever thought about coming back to Chicago, to Inglewood? I said, yes, sure have. So she was like, okay. So she said, would you like to, she said, we need somebody, a trauma specialist. So I said, okay, I can do the boys virtually. And I began there, and then she called me one day and said, are you sure you would like to come back to Chicago? I said, yeah. She said, okay, I'm going to see if I can put you in our grant. A few weeks later, she called me back and said, get ready, because they accepted you being in the grant, accepted how much you wanted and everything. So a few months after that, I was in Chicago, back in Inglewood.
So, all right, my name's Andre. The T-shirts are the business T-shirts, Crushers Club. So, how did you feel when you started at Crushers Club?
I was excited because I had working with the boys, so I knew a lot of the boys. But I was excited to come and just be a help in the community that I know needed help. I know that trauma was a big part of the young men, not being able to be successful. So I was coming to be on solving the problem to help them to be able to be successful. So the first thing I came in and said, everybody, let's make a plan.
Yeah. Can you give me an example of the times where you were needed at Crushers Club?
Times I've needed Crushers Club included the staff. I want to say that. Even though I came for the boys, the staff too. I do trainings, but just disagreements more than anything. Not as many fights or anything like that, but just disagreements. And what I really always talk about is communication, because communication is key. And sometimes people don't communicate things the way that other people can understand them. So that kind of leads to a disagreement that could be avoided if people was listening. So that's why with the boys I do a lot of listening training, a lot of communication training, and also some de-escalation training for if you do get to 10, because we get to 10 and we have to know how to come back.
Mm-hmm. So do you think more organizations need therapists and life coaches and other things for mental health?
Definitely. I don't think that especially an organization that says that they are attacking violence or poverty or none of the ills that are in the communities right now can do without that, because especially after 2020, I think everybody could use some therapy. So it's not even just those organizations when I think about it. I think any organization in the community where they are attacking violence or poverty or anything, but if they're in the community, I definitely think they can use it there.
And a question I have was, what was your best experience at Crushers Club?
My best experience at Crushers Club was one day I was walking through the kitchen and I heard, I ain't gonna say who it was, two of the young men just saying, man, I'm glad Coach A here.
It made you feel appreciated?
Yes, definitely, yeah. And they better have said it anyway, because I always make them feel guilty and say, I came all the way back to Chicago for you guys, so you better appreciate me. Yeah, but that's what made me feel, not that I'm looking for anything, but they let me know that they must feel that it was needed. So that's what it is. And the first part of being able to help someone is that they know they need help. Because it's like hitting against a brick wall when you're trying to help somebody and they feel like they don't need help. And I do run into those boys that I'm good, that come sit in my office and sit there for 5 minutes and don't say nothing. But it's a process. And when they get to a place to being able to trust me, they usually turn around, Yeah.
And would you say coming back to Chicago, would that be a risk? Like, was it a risk coming back to Chicago?
A risk for me?
Mm-hmm.
Not more of a risk than being any place else in the United States. I don't think so, no. I don't think so. I think the things that happen in Inglewood are just not an Inglewood thing, that is really all over the world. Because we had somebody come into the club today that came from a whole nother country and was talking about it in their country. They came to the club to see how we were helping the young men in our community because they're having so much violence in their country, and they're from Europe. So the violence, I think, is all over the world now, and because we have the internet and everything, we're beginning to be able to see how much it is. But yeah, no, I don't think it was a risk. A lot of people I know was like, "You going back to Chicago?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going back to Chicago." It ain't like I never came back to Chicago in my 30 years of being away. I was back at least 2-3 times a year, but coming back to live was a change. But I put on my Chicago hat and came back.
And you coming back to Chicago, was that like a change for you? Like a shift in your whole life?
Yeah, it was. But yeah, it was. But I started to remember things, and I guess I had a plan, and I had a goal, and my plan could only be done like this. I started trying to work with the boys on the internet. That worked some, but it wasn't really allowing them to connect with me like I wanted them to connect. So I needed to come and make myself a real person to them. So, yeah.
Would you say being in person, is it easier to understand them?
No, it's probably easier for them to understand me. I do good on Zoom. A lot of people during the pandemic and stuff was like, I don't do good on Zoom. I do. I don't have a problem talking with people on Zoom. But so I think some people, it's hard for them to connect. They just like you in the room with them, which is okay because everybody do things differently, I definitely think that I've seen some change. I've seen some definitely progress.
Would you say that's for all the boys of the club?
I think in all the boys. Yeah.
I got a question too. So, Coach A, how was we both had went to New York. How was New York?
Oh, I love New York. I know you love New York.
Yeah, I love New York.
I love New York. I loved Harlem. We got a chance to see the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
I had never been to New York, so it was a good experience for me. It's a great city.
Yeah.
Not as great as Chicago, but it's a great city.
New York never sleeps.
I tell you, any place I go in the country, wherever I go, and it'll probably be if I ever go outside the country, I just tell people, you're going to have to work really hard to become a greater city than Chicago. Mm-hmm. And I say that and I mean it, for real, because I have to say that I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for Inglewood, if it wasn't for Chicago. So even when people try to attack Inglewood, I have to let them know that, nope, I'm not going to accept it. Inglewood made me who I am. And I think I'm okay, I just know that a lot of people weren't able to be as lucky as me, so.
Would you say the boys at Crushers Club are lucky to get this opportunity to be able to work?
Yeah. To work with me? Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah. They know they lucky. I think so. I really believe it because they let me know by saying that. So I think that, but I'm lucky to be able to work with them because I think this is probably the second greatest thing I've did in my life. The first greatest is my children, but I think this is the second greatest. My kids even know it because they be like, Mom, I think you in your element at Crushes. They always tell me that. And they always say, your boys, because they know these my boys. So I think it is, yeah. This definitely has to be something I want to do. When I used to work in Minnesota, and I used to say working in therapy and everything, and I was like, oh yeah, if you could do this, if you could do something for free, what would you do? And that was what I could do for free. And I was like, oh yeah. But I think this right here kind of is even better than that. Yeah. Yep, I do.
So I know you have an accomplishment you had made about your book.
Oh, yeah. Did you read it?
Yeah, I read some of it.
What you
did.
think? Look, I'm going to have to ask you now. What
I really think about your book is it make me look at it differently about black young men.
Yeah, that's good. That's what I meant for it to be. What is the name of it? I always forget because I made such a long name because it has so much to say. But anyway, it is the journey, the African American man's journey to from surviving to thriving. That was it. I changed it a lot of times so you could tell. But what it basically is about is just that to help them to get unstuck. Because a lot of times you guys don't know you're stuck, but I just hope that it does. I hope that it does a lot. It's got stories in there about some of the men that, young and old, that I did therapy with, and some of the things we use to help them get unstuck, and to even help them know they were stuck.
Help them solve their trauma.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
Where could you find this book at?
Amazon. Yes, Amazon. Yeah.
So, what is the most thing that you love about Crushers Club?
The thing that I love the most about Crushers Club is the love that everybody that comes through Crushers Clubs have for you guys. I really hope that you guys see that too. Yeah. That's what I love about Crushers Club. I love about Crushers Club that I'm able to give my input on a whole lot of things. The kitchen, everything that's in Crushers Club, the kitchen, your T-shirts, everything that's in Crushers Club, I'm allowed to. You guys allow me to give advice on, and you take it. So I like that part. I definitely liked it. That's why I came, because I love the model that Sally created. I really did, and it looks like a model that can definitely, it is working, but it can definitely be replicated. So that's the thing that I like the most of just the flexibility that we're all given. Because when one thing I've learned is that, and you know, people always don't like to make like it's a difference, and but in my community, and I always say this, and that's our community. In our community, we just do things differently, and we receive things differently. And one of the biggest things I knew was going to be hard was coming in to do the mental health aspect, because mental health is not a good thing for us. We don't, you know, black and brown people who haven't got the best results when it came from a lot of institutionalized things like mental health, medical care, things like that. So we kind of back. So a lot of parents be afraid of you diagnosing their kid, and their kid gonna have something stamped on them for the rest of their life. So this is kind of what we do at the beginning, is a pre-therapeutic thing. And it'd be like, because everybody, even though they have a traumatic event, experience trauma, they don't always be stuck. Sometimes they need to understand what trauma is. And when you understand, you move along. So yeah. So I think that's the biggest thing I like is the flexibility that we get. And we go, I can go to Andre, Tanisha, Sally, and be able to say, I think this would be a better way to do that. And they're always open. Yeah.
What's one of the most common things you see happening with young men?
The offense thing. Being offended. Because being offended is that the ideal that you've been offended is when the anger thing arrives in you. And I always tell you guys is that it's going to come. If you feel like you've been offended, anger's going to come. What happens is that your response to it. It's just like if something sad happens, you're going to feel like crying, but don't you have a choice to cry or not? So when somebody offends you, the anger rises up in you because it's an emotion, but don't you have a choice to what you do to express it? And what I always say, you guys know, is to say, first thing is to tell somebody. I know me and you had that going back and forth. Mm-hmm. To tell somebody that they've offended you, and you was like, oh, you can't tell people, but you have to figure out, because that's the main thing that you have to do is tell somebody when you're offended. So I think that offense is such a big thing because whole countries are at war because this president offended this one. And so he never said he was offended. All of a sudden, this country is his enemy now. So next thing you know, it's a war. When communication could have solved that problem and just said, I think that was disrespectful what you said about us in our country. And then they could say, oh, well, I probably didn't mean to. I didn't mean to disrespect you. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But if the communication does not happen, then there we go.
You say communication is like a large problem that we have to stop.
The lack of communication.
The lack of communication. Mm.
Yeah. Communication is the key to solving the problem. The lack of communication is the problem. Yeah. Because when the offense comes, you have to be able to communicate that you've been offended. Because if you don't, there we go. You know what happens next. Yeah. The aggressiveness comes and all that stuff.
What's replaying in my mind is what Tanisha always say. She said, the club will never be nothing without Coach A.
It's going to be something, but Coach A ain't going nowhere. But it's definitely going to be. I really appreciate that, and I feel the same way about you guys, is that, you know, even when you've outgrown the club, I think that I'm just in awe of the kind of young men that you're going to go out into the world, because if you're not, then our job is not done if we haven't taught you something, if we haven't prepared you for the world. And that's the biggest thing we want to do, so that the world can see how great you are. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Do you feel like most of the boys in the club have a soft spot for you?
I think they know I got a soft spot for them. Yeah, I guess maybe, you know, I don't know if it's a soft spot, but I guess it's that I feel like I get a lot of respect, and I appreciate that, because they don't have to. Because I know a few of them is kind of rough, you know. So they're kind of rough when they leave outside the club, so I appreciate the respect, you know. I definitely do. But yeah. But I hope they do have a soft spot, and they keep having, because when you have a soft spot for somebody, like I have for you guys, then you want to please that person. That's why I want to please you guys. And my pleasing you guys is helping you to be successful. So, I definitely, yeah.
If you had anything to do to Crushers Club, what would you do?
You mean to expand it?
Mm-hmm.
I think that what I would do is to make what I do more accessible to more of the community, and to definitely be able to have more boys in Crushers Club. But to also be able to expand and make sure that we can do family things and parenting things, and just the whole family, so that we could, help the parents be able to succeed. I never believed in just doing the kids, because my motto was always, when I was doing therapy in Minnesota, I would say, if I couldn't do therapy with the kids because they can't make no decisions. So I have to have the whole family. And so that's what I would say, to be able to have some kind of central part where everybody could come.
Would you say Crushers Club is setting up a lot of young men for life?
Yes. Yeah.
Why would you say that?
I would say that because even some young men that sometimes leave Crushers Club or don't be able to be there no more still call me and ask me for help. Still say, Coach A, can you help me find a job? Coach A, can you tell me how I can do this at school? So I think that's a for life thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think so, because we've looked at what makes you successful as, a young man. Because I always believe what makes a person successful is what they want to do, not what I see them doing. And so if I can help you to figure out what that is and show you the path to get there, then I think I'm setting you up. That's setting you up for life. Real life answers, not no fake stuff.
And recently, me and Dre, we recently went on a trip
Yeah.
to the Men's Summit.
Yeah, Waymaker Summit.
Yeah,
It was fun.
yes.
We met Nick Cannon. We met a lot of black YouTubers that create YouTube about Chicago, around the community, and a lot of things about Inglewood and stuff. But yeah. Who did you meet, Sarel?
I met corporate Wade.
D-Wade?
D-Wade. I met Big Twine.
Okay.
And I think that's about it. I think that's all the pictures I got. But I definitely did learn a lot.
Yeah.
A lot, definitely.
Yeah, what was the one thing you learned from that?
That I could become an authorized user on my parents' credit. And when I turn 18, I could use that credit and build myself and help me overall.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I learned there, that there was a guy, his name was Andre. His name was Andre, just like me. But he had owned his own, he was learning how to own his own house. He was like a real estate renter. And he had bought his own house like at 18, and he started pricing it how he wanted it. And then it started going good for him. He started buying more properties, and then he started making over 2 million. Yeah, 2 million every 3 months.
Whoa, okay.
Would you say taking a risk is better for yourself? Like, would you rather take a risk than do nothing?
You say rather take a risk to do nothing. I'd say, yeah, I'd rather take that risk and push myself harder and harder to achieve.
A question I have for you, Coach A, is how long have you been at Crushers Club?
A year.
A year?
Yeah. I've been here a year. I came last October.
So you've been there for like 5 years.
And actually, it's over a year, maybe about a year and a half, because I did the video, online for about. But I've been, I've been back to Chicago October. Yeah, no, I haven't been there. It seemed like it, huh?
Yeah, I thought you know everybody there.
Yeah.
Nope. I just knew what I wanted to do, and I was glad that I was welcome like that. And when I came, it felt like I was back home.
Yeah, shout out our boxers. They had got dubs. They had one.
Yes.
Sir Jay, Kenneth, and Gavin. They did their stuff at the fight.
All right.
Got them 3 medals.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yep.
And isn't it a fight tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it's a fight tomorrow for
Yes,
Kenneth and Sir Jay.
Yeah.
I think other boxers could go
Yeah,
if
they
want
could.
to.
Yeah, they could go if they want to. Yeah, and we still got a lot of shirts. So If you want to come down, get your own shirts. We at Crushers Club.
And speaking of shirts, I'm also wearing one myself right now.
He wearing his uniform shirt. He gonna give y'all a look. Take a look.
Crushers Club.
Yeah. So basically,
Well,
wrap up time. So, Sarel, lead you off on that.
You know, it was a nice evening talking to everybody here. It was a nice evening talking to Coach A. And with all that, I would like to say this is the end of Crushers Talk.
Have a nice day.
have a nice evening.